Now, let's just pause there, because everybody wants to know. What about Reshona Landfair? And we already know they're putting out the fake news that she's cooperating. That's some bullshit. If nothing else, I think she's given her testimony, same as she had to do the last time. And the testimony she gave was that she was not the girl in the sex tape. And as we all see, yet again, even though he was acquitted for this is being brought back up. And the charges have been changed a little bit. So let's just go and take a look at something I found about the old case and the people who identified this victim.
During testimony today in the child pornography trial of singer R. Kelly, witness after witness identified those on that now infamous sex tape as the alleged victim and R. Kelly. CLTV's Randy Bellasoma was in the courtroom today, joins us now from 26 in California with more. Randy?
Sean, today, for the first time, we heard testimony that identified those on the tape from someone other than a relative, a friend, or a parent of a friend of the alleged victim. We heard from a former employee of R. Kelly who said at first she did not want to believe that it was him. Lindsay Perryman worked for Robert Kelly on and off from 1999 to 2006, doing everything from cleaning floors to handling the defendant's personal business. She told the court that included driving the alleged victim in the now infamous sex tape to and from his Olympia Fields home. She also testified to often seeing the girl at Kelly's recording studio, sometimes carrying a pillow and an overnight bag. The image that I saw looks exactly like Mr. Kelly, Perryman said, then IDing the female on the tape, citing her facial features and her cheekbones. During cross-examination, defense attorney Mark Martin inquired about Perryman's purported master's degree from a recording conservatory in Arizona.
I could have sworn she said she told them it could have been R. Kelly.
Features and her cheekbones. During then IDing the female on the tape, I saw looks exactly like Mr. Kelly, Perryman said, then IDing the female on the tape, citing her facial features and her cheekbones. During cross-examination, defense attorney Mark Martin inquired about Perryman's purported master's degree from a recording conservatory in Arizona, a degree she said took only months to acquire. I didn't go to Oxford or Harvard, no, Perryman replied. Also taking the stand was Jada Burnett, a family friend of the alleged victim. She said the female on the tape was about 12 or 13 at the time and noted her distinctive cheeks and facial structure.
Wait, what? 12, 13? I thought Sparkle said the girl was 14 to 15. This girl just keep getting younger and fucking younger.
However, that's as far as she could go. Here's an exchange during cross-examination by defense attorney Sam Adam Jr. At some point, you'd have had to have seen her naked. You were so close, right? I've never seen her naked. 22-year-old Raven Gangler testified as well, saying the girl on the tape was her friend from junior high. She said that was something that was absolute and said the alleged victim was very proud of her relationship with R. Kelly. R. Kelly sat expressionless through most of the day's proceedings, and occasionally he would whisper something to attorney Eddie Jensen. If convicted, he could face up to 15 years in prison. Reporting from 26th in California.
If you include the four alternates. I can tell you, Brianna, that some of the things that the attorneys and the judge are really questioning the jurors about are, first of all, just a simple presumption of innocence, that they must understand that Kelly is presumed to be innocent. Also, they must understand that the prosecution has to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that he's guilty. One potential juror who was chosen today is a middle-aged African-American woman who's married to a Baptist minister, and she was questioned about whether or not her husband's religious beliefs would prejudice her decision, and she said it wouldn't. She was also asked if she might be prejudiced by seeing the graphic video that is the crux of this case, and she said she would not be. Brianna?
Why did this take so long? 7 years is such a long time, Susan.
Well, a couple of different things. In one case, one of the prosecuting attorneys was pregnant. That delayed it. There was a change in judges. That delayed it. The defense for R. Kelly has delayed it repeatedly with various motions. So this thing has just been drug out, and now the alleged victim is 23 years old.
He's delayed it in motions because some things just didn't sit well. And of course, in law you have to file motions. Duh.
According to the indictment, she would have been anywhere between 13 and 15 at the time that videotape was recorded. But she is now 23, and she says that her name, which is the name in the indictment, that she is not the girl in that videotape. The witnesses are going to be called to say that she is.
Do we know what legal analysts say about to whose advantage this will work towards it? It's been 7 years.
No, I haven't heard anything about who will have an advantage here. Each juror's question about how much they've heard about this case, have they heard anything about it, can they put it aside and approach it in a fresh manner, and each of them so far has said that they can.
All right, Susan Rosegen for us covering the R. Kelly trial. Thanks, Susan.
Well, are you possibly thinking about parking that SUV of yours?
Trial begins. Kelly is accused of videotaping.
I just want to say, y'all need to leave him alone. That's not R. Kelly.
R. Kelly fans were the only ones talking outside a Chicago courthouse Tuesday. That's because a gag order is in effect as the long-delayed child pornography trial begins. Kelly is accused of videotaping himself having sex with an underage girl sometime between January 1998 and November 2000. The sex tape, all 27 minutes of it, was shown to jurors by the prosecution. Prosecutors maintain the girl in the video...
So at that time, it was 27 minutes. Okay? Now, let me just show you some problems with this fucking tape. These images from the internet. Now, we all recognize to the far left, that's the one that everybody remembers when he had on the little pants in front of the camera. Obviously bald looking. Then you got this shot with this thick little afro. But him in court at this time, he has a short amount of hair. Keeping in mind, this tape was allegedly years old. As the clips told you, the tape was 26 minutes. According to this article, it says the footage is 42 minutes and 45 seconds. So, like I said, I believed in the other video I did about it. They obviously split the tape. They wanted to feed the media and get a reaction out of R. Kelly. And when that didn't work, then they released the second part of the same video. And they're saying it's this girl, who again, I have yet to see with that specific hairstyle. You have Lisa Van Allen, their star witness at that time, telling you she stole a tape, tried to get some money out of the situation, which is extortion, blackmail. And this is their star witness. Why isn't she being charged with a crime? She did not take this to the police. She passed this tape on to other individuals. Isn't that a crime in itself? Then they end up passing it to Barry Hankerson, who passed it to Jim DeRogatis, who the only reason he reported it to the police department was because his bosses would not let him keep it. So y'all can get the fuck out of here talking about some Jim DeRogatis, because he wouldn't even testify in court himself.
Everyone by surprise. The defense said they have a witness they need to interview, but they can't do that until later tonight.
I wonder, was this witness Damon Pryor, who testified to them that it was him on the tape.
All had cleared courtroom 500 for the midday recess. Kelly's defense team threw a curveball at Judge Vincent Gahn. They claimed to be able to produce a witness who could discredit the testimony that was expected later in the day from an Atlanta woman who said she engaged in a three-way sexual encounter with both the defendant and the alleged victim in the case. Though the defense has fought her appearance for weeks now, all seemed clear for her to take the stand until this 11th hour move. In earlier testimony, the court heard from two basketball coaches. Joel Ray headed up the team from Oak Park's Percy Julian Middle School between 1994 and 2003. He coached two of the alleged victim's friends, and the squad squared off against her rivaling team several times a year. He ID'd the female on the now infamous sex tape as the alleged victim and cited the...
So you mean tell me these people went to this school, and all the people in the school that could have identified a female sexual assault victim, they go to this fucking male coach? Make that shit make sense to me. Would you, as a parent, be comfortable with the fact if your daughter needed to be identified in some type of sexual encounter, they gonna go to the school and pick the men to identify her? The fuck? They couldn't find no women.
Girl's forehead, describing it to be the butt of several good-natured jokes. Jock Conway coached the alleged victim on the Oak Park River Forest sophomores.
Here go another man. Another man. They showed this sex tape. They showed the other man. They showed him. What's up with that?
Squad in 2000 and 2001. He ID'd the girl on the tape as the alleged victim, also adding that he saw the defendant in attendance at one of her games. So the surprise witness is scheduled to fly in late.
So a godfather can go to the game of his goddaughter.
Later this evening, the defense will interview him then. The prosecution will have the opportunity to take his deposition.
Him alone, that's not R. Kelly.
R. Kelly fans were the only ones talking outside a Chicago courthouse Tuesday. That's because a gag order is in effect as the long-delayed child pornography trial begins. Kelly is accused of videotaping himself having sex with an underage girl sometime between January 1998 and November 2000. The sex tape, all 27 minutes of it, was shown to jurors by the prosecution. Prosecutors maintain the girl in the video was as young as 13 when it was made. Kelly's defense team contends it is not Kelly on the tape. One of his attorneys spoke at length about a mole the size of a dime on Kelly's lower back that they say is missing from the man on the tape. The case is expected to last weeks. Kelly faces up to 15 years if convicted. Margie Zaraletta, The Associated Press.
Wednesday. First up, you like this? Sex, lies, and videotape. Prosecutors in Chicago.
That's what I'm talking about. That kind of reaction. We like that.
Prosecutors in Chicago have rested their case against R&B.
Do we notice how different the reporting is then and now? Okay.
Superstar R. Kelly on trial for allegedly videotaping himself having sex with an underage girl.
You've probably been hearing about this because it's been going on for a long time. So today, R. Kelly's turn to convince the jury he's not a player in the sex romp. So it's not like he's going to be getting on the stand, or is he?
Ooh.
His team is going to have a tough time, though, after some of the previous bombshells.
Hold on. Scandalous sworn testimony about criminal three-way sex. Damning declarations about an extortion plot and a duffel bag full of homemade...
Did y'all see how his hair was?
Sex tapes carried everywhere like a prized possession. All this in just one day of action at the sensational child pornography trial of R&B singing star R. Kelly. But the Grammy Award-winning defendant refuses to sing the blues. Kelly has pleaded not guilty to charges he videotaped himself having sex with a female prosecutors say was as young as 13. His defense? Kelly claims he is not the man on the tape. However, the prosecution has a star witness, Lisa Van Allen. Lisa testified she met the alleged victim, the teen girl, in 1998. In her most damaging testimony, Lisa identified the two individuals on the sex tape as Kelly and the alleged victim. According to prosecutors, Lisa is particularly qualified to know who's on the tape. Why? Because of Lisa's bombshell testimony about another sexual encounter. This one, a three-way escapade between Kelly, Lisa, and the underage girl. All of it videotaped and directed by R. Kelly. Finally, Lisa told the court Kelly kept all his tapes with him at all times and put them in a black duffel bag. Then the prosecution rested its case. But R. Kelly's lawyers will start calling witnesses next. The defense team is challenging Lisa Van Allen and her story. They say she is a schemer with a boyfriend, and the pair plan to extort money from R. Kelly in exchange for a sex tape. This high-profile trial has
Did y'all see his hair again? Okay.
captivated the country's attention because people are asking, why is it taking so long to bring to justice a criminal case involving the exploitation of a child? Joining us now is Chicago defense attorney Thomas Glasgow.
Also, Kelly's victim, celebrity in Chicago, and the room just stops. R. Kelly gets to the best table. People walk up, shake his hand, pat him on the back. People are really able to separate church and state when it comes to this guy.
But Kelly, you've covered this trial from the very beginning to celebtv.com, and you know celebrities. Will all this damning evidence finally take his star down, you think?
I think that R. Kelly, when it all ends, he's going to be remembered for his music. No matter what happens, he really is. He did the Bulls theme song. This is a guy, people are able to separate it.
Olympic theme songs and In the Closet, that series of videos and all that.
I think when this all ends, it's going to be like a Trapped in the Closet series. Who knows, this guy could come out with a reality show. He could be inspired and create more music based on that.
If he isn't in jail. Now, here's the thing. Will he be brought...
Now, I think that's what got mute R. Kelly feeling some type of way. Because regardless of all this hooping and hollering they doing, you is not going to mute R. Kelly. Period. It's not going to happen.
You could argue Chicago law enforcement has been hunting down R. Kelly for nearly 20 years, since child porn charges first came down in...
You said that right. Hunting R. Kelly down. Trying to get any charge they can get to stick. Even if you're going to use people who have sued this man, took settlements, signed non-disclosures, and now if y'all can't get nobody else, y'all going to use them to get an indictment against this man. You're right. Been hunting him down.
2002.
A Cook County jury acquitted Kelly in 2008. Now a second set of charges, similar in nature, with a different group of players. But just how different are things in the R. Kelly case then and now?
Yeah, just how different. Not too different.
Julie Unruh is here with more after speaking with one of the key people very close to that first case more than a decade ago. Julie?
His name is Dick Devine, and he was the Cook County State's attorney back then when a 27-minute VHS tape was handed to him. The allegation at the time, it contained child pornography, and one of the music industry's biggest stars was on that tape. Well, these days, Dick Devine seems more relaxed. He's in private practice these days, and R. Kelly, the person allegedly on that tape almost 20 years ago, today is more like a middle-aged man than a mega music star, as he faces similar criminal charges yet again. Devine helps us take a look back, the two cases then and now.
We were back then going up against an individual who had a high level of recognition. There were groups outside the courthouse who were applauding him and cheering him and urging him stay with it. I doubt we'll see that.
That's why Mute R. Kelly want to shut this rally going September 3rd. They want to keep trying to discourage people that support R. Kelly. It's not going to work for those people who really support R. Kelly and are not following the bullshit.
Kind of thing this time around.
Former Cook County State's Attorney Dick Devine points out one of the many differences in the case against R. Kelly then and now. Back in 2008, the R&B sensation was closer to 40 at the peak of his musical career. Today, Robert Sylvester Kelly, at 52, not the star he once was, had trouble posting bond after facing child porn charges.
Now pay attention to this. This is the difference. She telling you the biggest difference. The money. He don't have, in their eyes, the money. The fact that he allegedly had trouble and all these stories are going out about him being broke. This makes them feel like now is going to be that time to get that conviction. Pay attention. Shit.
In 2019. This time, 4 victims, 3 of them allegedly minors, are central to this case. A decade ago, it was one.
And all of them except the one in the tape had settlements and non-disclosures with R. Kelly, went to an attorney who told them not to proceed with criminal charges, to sue him instead. Don't leave them parts out.
Victim, Kelly's goddaughter. She may have been as young as 13 back then.
Today's charges are more traditional in the sense that the victims have come forward. They have stated their case.
Reshona Landfair, the girl in the tape, has not come forward. They lying. Bam. Stop.
Appear to be fully cooperating with law enforcement. So what you're seeing today
Lies.
are the kind of charges we would have brought had the victim been cooperating with us.
Devine says the Me Too movement as of late is making all the difference. The R. Kelly case.
Notice that? Did you hear it? The Me Too movement is making all the difference. No fucking surprise. Wake up.
Cases then and now unfold in the same city, at the same courthouse, involve the same defendant and largely the same allegation. Repeat sexual encounters against a minor.
Same victim, largely same allegations, but this ain't double jeopardy. Somebody explain that shit to me. I'll wait.
Orchestrated by R. Kelly himself over and over again, then and now. But don't forget, in 2008, the music phenomenon was acquitted.
You look back and you think,
Here in Chicago on 21 charges of child pornography. 7 of those counts have since been dropped due to a legal technicality. But the question of Kelly's guilt or innocence remains as controversial and uncertain as ever. The stakes, too, are high. If convicted of sex crimes, Kelly could be looking at 15 years in prison and a swift end to one of the highest flying careers in music.
I am a mountain. I am a tall tree.
So what is the case against R. Kelly? MTV News has talked with lawyers, experts, and many in the music business to give you an insider's look at what to expect when the gavel drops. Here's John Norris.
I believe I can fly.
Hitmaker and star maker. R. Kelly is one of the most prolific and celebrated songwriters of his generation.
He's a wonderful person and so talented.
Music-wise, talented-wise, he's the best.
We see you, Drea.
But even as millions of fans sang along to his music and danced along with the videos, few, if any, were aware that Chicago police were looking into a more unseemly side of the singer's life, probing numerous allegations of an illegal sexual relationship with an underage girl, his goddaughter. Some in the music industry say R. Kelly's taste for young girls has long been an open secret.
Rumblings of he and girls not of age have been around for quite some time.
Still, without any proof, police never charged R. Kelly with a crime. But then, someone delivered a shocking videotape to a reporter at the Chicago Sun-Times. The tape featured a man who appeared to be R. Kelly engaging in sex acts with what appeared to be the very same girl at the center of those investigations.
The stuff that's going on in the tape, not to romanticize it, not to sensationalize it, it's horrifying. It's not healthy sexual relations.
For authorities, who had previously dropped the complaints against Kelly due to lack of evidence, the videotape now offered the proof they had been looking for. Or so it seemed.
Try to charge me, but I'm not guilty.
Kelly immediately denied he was the man on the tape.
I'm not a guy that would do this, what people are saying.
But at the same time that R. Kelly was issuing his denial, the X-rated tape was bootlegged and sold on street corners around the country. It even showed up on the shelves of HMV for a day. Some swiftly rendered their own verdict about the tape.
35 minutes of disgustingness.
Wait, what? 35 minutes? I thought it was 20-some minutes. And something going on here.
Girl looked no more than 14 years old. The image that I saw was a man.
What the fuck is that? What the fuck is that? What the fuck is that? Stop playing. Stop. Where? Stop.
And that looked, legally speaking, I've got to be careful, looked like R. Kelly.
But the court of public
Who the fuck that said that? Don't like no goddamn R. Kelly. Fuck out of here.
Opinion isn't the court of law. In a criminal trial, nothing is assumed to be obvious, and everything must be proven beyond a reasonable doubt. In the child pornography case against R. Kelly, lawyers will have to prove that the tape is what it appears to be. Prosecutors must leave no doubt R. Kelly is the man on the tape. The girl is underage, and the tape is authentic. These three factors.
Did you see that? Those three factors had to be proved and could not be proved then, will not be proved now. What the fuck are we talking about this sex tape again for? Same problems.
Facts are crucial, and each has been contested by Kelly and his lawyers, beginning with the tape itself. In this interview 6 years ago.
And is anybody gonna go back in time and try to figure out all these people that distributed this tape and sold it? What we gonna do about that since it's a crime?
Kelly claimed the tape was a complete fiction, invented by special effects.
I'm not a professional in that area. I do know this. It's not me.
Now y'all notice the way his hair is. Like I said, at that particular time, he ain't had that much hair. He was getting weave put in his hair. See that shit?
And if it's gotten me to this point, sitting in this chair talking to you about this, then it's obvious somebody that is real good at doctoring or whatever they did.
In this media age, the great technology that lets us do fabulous things in movies and music videos makes the prosecution's case far more difficult.
Kelly's lawyers have claimed
Damn, they look like that bitch from that, Central Park 5 shit. The fuck? Yeah, we see you.
specifically that their client's image was superimposed on the video, a practice said to be common in pornography. But that claim has already been challenged by the FBI, according to Chicago police.
FBI forensics experts from Quantico have closely examined the tape. They tell us it's authentic.
It should be noted that Kelly's defense team vigorously...
It's authentic. It just ain't R. Kelly. Duh.
denies this claim that the FBI has authenticated the tape. To bolster their contention that Kelly himself is the man on the tape, prosecutors will attempt to prove that the video was made here, in Kelly's former Chicago mansion. MTV News cameras were granted exclusive access to the home in 2004, though the owners at the time asked us not to film the room where the sex tape was allegedly made. Instead, we obtained these images of that room, nicknamed the Colorado Room for its western log cabin interior, from a realtor's website. Look for prosecutors to compare images like these to those on the sex tape.
Here there's a lot of distinctive features to the architecture of the room. It's not your typical white room with 4 flat walls.
But even if the jury is convinced that that is Kelly on the tape, and that the tape is authentic, they still face a major hurdle. The case against R. Kelly is complicated by the fact that there is no accuser. Like Kelly, the girl alleged to be on the tape says, "It wasn't me."
She denied it. Her mom and her dad denied it, and a few other people have denied it.
She's going in front of the grand jury and under oath
both deny that this occurred.
From my perspective, doesn't matter how many times she says she's...
Man, I think that is that bitch. Y'all need to go check that out. Go find out. Is this that Central Park bitch out here putting these fake rape charges on these men? I'm gonna have to come back to this. Ooh.
not the person in that video, I would be very willing to bet that there are some relatives of hers who will even identify her.
In fact, the prosecution's witness list does include numerous family members of the girl in question, most notably Aunt Sparkle.
You better be careful what you do to me.
Yeah, Sparkle. They said imagine some mysterious person called her about the blue, told her to come identify her niece. However, we all know the fact is Jim DeRogatis hit her up and she put this lie on this lawyer over here, Myers. Can't remember his first name, but his last name Myers. And he openly let the public know he did not contact this girl. So this is their witness being caught in lies. She was in a relationship with R. Kelly. She was partaking in whatever he was partaking in. So, is this really a credible witness?
A former music protege of Kelly, Sparkle has publicly declared that the girl in the video is her young niece. Sparkle says her niece, who's now around 24, was just 14 at the time the tape was made.
She was 14. Maybe like 14 and a half, as you know, the young kids may say.
She was 14 and a half, but you're okay with the prosecutors painting the image that she's 13 just to give a younger impression, because under 13 is going to really be the pedophile area right there. Yeah. Pay attention to the storyline. That's why they keep going back and forth with the age, because they want to make it pedophilia, but that ain't quite the case. Now, just like you know, some 50, 60-year-old men that like 18, 19-year-old women, don't be sitting here like, why is he? Because like I said, I don't think he initiates a relationship with 17-year-olds or any underage women, period.
Sure. She's definitely that age.
If the defense is smart, they'll try and discredit this woman, say anybody that's coming forward is just out to smear R. Kelly.
But Sparkle's words aren't the only evidence available to prosecutors. The singer also identified her niece as an aspiring rapper.
Darling, darling, stand by me.
MTV News uncovered this music video featuring the girl, and she does appear to be quite young. The video was reportedly produced around the same time as the alleged sex tape. A connection
around the same time. But this is the hairstyle she got. But you sitting here listening to Sparkle dumbass tell you she had that particular hairstyle. Shut the fuck up, stupid.
Prosecutors may use in their attempt to prove the girl was a minor. The sex tape, too, can offer clues to the girl's age. A Backstreet Boys track released in 1998 can be heard playing in the background, as can the Spice Girls' Too Much, a single from earlier that same year. Potentially more telling, though, is the sound of a commercial for a company that went out of business in 2000. A detail that could help the DA more precisely pinpoint when the video was made. Now,
so you still trying to figure out when the video was made? Because you hearing all this shit in the background. And people saying in today's time that he said the girl's name, the motherfucking lie. They ain't said none of that in the past. Notice they just pointed out all this music playing in the background. They didn't say this girl's name was referenced in the tape.
You might think that having a videotape of the alleged crime for jurors to look at would be a prosecutor's dream. But without a cooperating victim, that's not necessarily so.
People won't like that supposedly the victim in this case is saying that it's not her. So they're supposed to just believe a videotape as opposed to the person live there in court.
Exactly. So now they want to paint the narrative that she's cooperating, let these dumbass people feel like she's cooperating when that's some absolute bullshit.
The
prosecution rested on Monday, with the defense beginning their case on Tuesday. Here's what's happened so far. The prosecution called to the stand a dozen relatives and friends of the girl they say appears in the now infamous sex tape, and they all identified her as the victim. In their opinion, she was 13 or 14 at the time Kelly allegedly made the tape. The defense had an equivalent to OJ's glove, a mole on Kelly's back, which can be seen in police photos. The singer's lawyers told the jury they wouldn't see the mole on the tape, and that would prove it's not Kelly. But then, a forensic video expert played the tape in slow motion, and a dark spot on the man's back was visible, in the same position as Kelly's mole in the police photos. That expert also confirmed where the video was shot, the notorious Colorado room of Kelly's former home.
Everybody make mistakes. They better destroy you.
Prosecutors also showed the jury a music video that featured the alleged victim in 1998. More than one witness put the girl in Kelly's frequent company. The singer's personal assistant told the court that one of her jobs was to pick up the girl from school and bring her to Kelly's studio, once even with an overnight bag. And the girl's aunt, former Kelly protege Sparkle, said she took her niece to Kelly's home to watch a game. Then there's Kelly's...
Wait, what? She took her niece to his home to watch a game? I ain't heard that story. Man.
Former mistress claimed she participated in sexual encounters with both Kelly and the girl on tape.
Hello everybody and welcome to my channel. This video, let's go back to the alleged victim from the 2008 trial. Everybody keeps saying this girl appeared to be 12 or 13. This would have to been a very well developed 12 to 13-year-old. And if you know what I know, you know that the girl in the sex tape was not R. Kelly, and it was not Reshona Landfair. For this tape to have been, 1 minute said it was 27 minutes. Then they're saying it's 30-something minutes. Then they're saying it's 45 minutes. Then if you look at the images of the photos, you see too many inconsistent facts. Let's talk about it. In conclusion, let's stay focused on exposing the facts and the inconsistent times that these people conveniently distort the truth. You've seen on the docuseries them pushing this image, them telling you this story about a 14-year-old girl who is being identified on blogs on the internet as Reshona Landfair, but that's not Reshona Landfair in the picture. You got the girl who's saying she was in the sex tape, talking about she was also in it with the girl, but she's distorting the fact that the girl was her best friend and her baby daddy. She was used in this whole blackmail attempt. So why isn't she being charged, since all of you are so worried about justice? It's so easy for people to keep talking shit about R. Kelly and pat these type of people on their back. Even though you get Jim DeRogatis out here pushing his little book, and he's the one who helped to distribute this tape. Isn't that another charge? You clearly see where a lot of this propaganda is coming from. Where are all those tapes at now? Guess they mysteriously disappeared. Now I'm just sitting back watching the hypocrisy surrounding this whole case. And people acting like they don't understand what's really going on. And then you got people asking me, why am I dedicating so much time on this particular case? Well, the answer is this. I've had other blogs in which I've talked about the situations around me. But you know what? People don't care about those topics. So sometimes you have to expose things that are going on at a higher level for people to recognize if this shit can happen to these people, what the fuck chance do I have? Just keep that in mind. Slaves weren't brought to America, they were made. Remember that. Stay tuned for the next video. We'll see what the topic is going to be. I might even go live. I got time today. What do you think about all the coverage that I showed you today? The witnesses in particular. Think they're going to call those same witnesses? Since the same victim is going to have the same story? How can they recall the same victim if she already has an affidavit signed and in place that states the same facts? She is not the girl in the tape. I appreciate those that support the channel. My Cash App is primadonnaent. PayPal /primadonnanews. Feel free to reach out to me on my social platforms. About the best way I can go live is through my Facebook, so go ahead. Send me a request. Have a great day.